Welcome to Inspiring People, the show about inspiring people, those who are inspired and those who inspire others. We all know them. They're good examples, they're supportive, they embrace life, they live inspiring lives in their day-to-day actions, and in turn, inspire others to do the same. Hi, welcome to Inspiring People. My name is Mary Otto. I'm the host of the show. And with me today for part 2 of their story, their inspiring story, are Dan and Anita Thorson. Welcome back, you guys. Good to have you here again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In case you missed it, during the first show, we had talked with this couple about Dan's deployment to Iraq and his role there, and also Anita's occupation and as a teacher here in the Detroit Lakes area. So we're going to pick up with that, and for those of you who haven't seen it, hopefully you'll be able to catch what's going on in the second part. Anita, what's it like for you, or what's it been like for you and your family? Not only your family, the 5 of you, but also your extended family. Can you tell the viewers, or would you please tell the viewers a little bit about what family life is like when one of the family members is deployed overseas, particularly in an area like Bosnia or Iraq, where Dan has been?
Well, there's always a question in your mind about the safety of your soldier when he's deployed, and so that kind of affects your family life too. There's always in the back of your mind wondering if he's going to be able to come home and be a part of your family again. But other than that, it's just about trying to get through the deployment, knowing that hopefully he'll be coming back to be a part of the family again. It's almost like being a single parent for a while, too, which is definitely hard because you're responsible for every portion of the kids' lives, and just independently and solely having to take that responsibility, plus having to take on the responsibilities that he normally takes, like the car repairs and the home repairs and just things that he normally does, having to take on that responsibility or find somebody who can do that for me. So those are some things that I've had to deal with.
And are there support groups, or either formalized ones or informal ones? Do you get together with other moms, other wives of whose husbands are deployed, or how does that work? Are there organizations or just informal ones that get together and support one another?
There are formal organizations called the Family Readiness Group, which we communicated with those people through email. Unfortunately, his group was out of the cities, and so I didn't have that. The monthly meetings, I didn't get to go to those like the other wives got to, but we did have communication through them with email, and they were able to keep us up to date on what was going on with the company and things like that, so that was nice. And then fortunately, one of my close friends also has a husband who's deployed, and so that's nice to be able to share experiences with her as well.
And what is the, Dan, what is the communication process for you to go through, and is there a time lag, or if there's information you want, besides Skype, which you mentioned in the first one, but if there's something happening in Iraq, let's say, and you want to get information to Anita or any of your family of origin back home, how do you go about doing that? Is it basically Skype, or are there other ways that you can communicate?
Communication now, the technology it is, we have telephones, internet, email, Skype. But yeah, I do have to be careful on really information I talk about. There's things I could never talk about what I'm going to be doing or where I'm going. I was fortunate enough to be able to travel a lot throughout southern part of Iraq. But that also made it tough for Anita back home. If I talked to her about, I could tell her I'm going to be leaving maybe in a few days or whatever. I could never tell her the day I was leaving, and I could never tell her where I was going. So most of our conversations kind of took place in a what I've done or type conversation versus what I'm going to be doing. And that did make it difficult. There was times where we would plan on maybe having a phone conversation on a special day where all of a sudden I'd have to email her, let her know that I will not be able to call because all of a sudden I had to go out on a mission or some sort that same day. And then she was like, you know, to ask why. And, you know, I just kind of have to tell her, I can't tell you, sorry. I think that was probably the most difficult part about the communication when the questions of why and things came up, and I should be able to answer them, but I know I can't answer them. And then I guess there's also the one thing we did find out together towards the end of my deployment was just some of the normal dangers of being in Iraq when things happen with the communication the way it is. Family members back home can find out about it a whole lot quicker versus compared to when I was in Bosnia, where we didn't communicate as often or as for longer periods of time.
So when you Skype, were you able to see the children then too? Did they get to see their dad when you were Skyping, or is it just the two of you, or how did you handle that?
Most of the time, I did get to see the children. Depending on the time of day that I would get on the computer, more so for Minnesota time. If the kids weren't up yet in the morning or had already gone to bed, then I'd just talk to Anita. But I always tried to make, especially on weekends, I'd either stay up later at night or what have you, so I could call during the day, so I could see the kids and that they could see me, because that was important to me, and I think it was important to them to still be able to see me.
Because I'm guessing that they would ask oftentimes, you know, where's Dad, or when's Dad coming home, or whatever, so when they get a chance to see him, I'm sure they were pretty excited about being able to talk to their dad.
They were. Our 1-year-old for a while was thinking that Dad was the computer. Whenever she saw the computer, she would say, "Oh, there's Dad."
Is that right? Well, that's pretty cute. Yeah. And I'm sure because she'd see your face on there or whatever and thinks that that's what it was. So anyway, well, there are a couple of things I want to ask you really quickly before we have to end the second part. And one is, Dan, I'm just curious about the shirt that you chose to wear for the interview. It says Harley Davidson Motorcycle. So can you just tell me about that shirt a little bit?
It's one of my favorite shirts.
I think.
I do own a Harley. We've owned it now for a couple of years anyways, and that's our best thing we like to do together is when we can go riding, we go riding together. You have your own bike, and I have mine now. And
oh, you have your own bike too?
Yeah, I got my license just before he left for Iraq, and so I was able to keep riding the summer that he was gone.
Okay, and do you ride in a club or whatever then as well, or just you guys just do it for your own entertainment, your own?
Just for ourselves.
Do you do? Okay, so sometimes you just can ride together. Is that the deal? Each on your own motorcycle, and then on your do you have a Harley also?
I don't have a Harley.
Oh, okay. You have another kind of motorcycle.
Right, that's a goal of mine, to have a Harley.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, this is so interesting because I've known these two for a number of years, and I just never would have pictured Anita on a Harley, but I'm so glad to hear that you're doing it. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for agreeing to be on the show. Thank you for spending part of your time while you were home, Dan, to do this. I'm sure the viewers are going to be very interested in your message and inspired by how you guys are handling the situation. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Mary.
thank you.
And remember, always use good grammar, punctuation, and spelling. I was their English teacher, too. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm.